we are looking forward to learn from you. I'm having my notes here and I have my pen here and getting ready to take a lot of notes from you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sherry. And again, a very good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm actually very, very excited today to share with you a brand new training that, we've sort of always done it, with one-on-one with a lot of the LCs. But I felt that it's about time we give some proper training when it comes to what I call and what the CEO calls proper product mindset. And so to give you a bit of a quick sort of background, you'll notice in our company we do a whole lot of training when it comes to the compensation plan. And the reason why is because we knew that in GWT we have one of the best compensation plan in the world, but we also realized that some of the new LCs coming on board might not really understand why we're so different and what made our compensation plan so much more better than the rest of the other companies. And so that's when the leadership core from the CEO downwards wanted to start to educate as many people as possible in terms of how strong is our compensation plan. So, we have so much training nowadays in terms of team strategy, comp plan, detailed comp plan breakdown, and, of course, even the leadership core has started to do a lot of comparisons. So, of course, a lot of you might know that on my website, which is the ourgwt.com website, that I have a whole list of comparisons of all the companies in network marketing, and I compared their payout plan to ours, and till today, not one company can pay out more. But again, the reason why that we actually did all of this stuff was for one main purpose, was to give you, to be very proactive with educating the field. So to be very proactive, ensuring that people already know up front what makes our comp plan so much more stronger. And for the same reason that we want to be proactive in educating people about the compensation plans, is the same reason tonight we want to have a training on proper product mindset to help you, yourself, and your team be very, very proactive with understanding the proper product mindset. So let's get right into this. Very, very excited here today, folks, and here we go. So we always believe that human beings sometimes, when they're in the business and they're sort of moving around, that they get too sort of caught up in their own thing. And sometimes people need to have a point of reference. So, I have a lot of people that I've talked to sometimes, and they come to me because we have a very big team here, and they talk to me about some of the perhaps product issues that they might actually have. And one thing that I realize is that people sort of seem to expect the wrong kind of things. And when I give them a point of reference, they realize how absurd or how, out of this world was their expectation. So today, to start today's training call, I want to show you guys a point of reference in terms of other large designer brands, really famous, really popular brands, multi-billion-dollar companies. I want to share with you guys a point of reference here. So there's a website where it's called consumeraffairs.com, and I had a lot of fun here where I actually went to the website and I looked at the top complaints for Louis Vuitton. I also looked at the complaints for Tiffany and, of course, for Gucci, okay, because, again, we have products similar in terms of our quality and our standards, if not similar, but actually higher than what they already have. But I want to share with you guys some of the complaints that I read, and I think that for most people who are so into GWT, it's good to step back out and take a look at the other kind of things happening in these other designers. So I have a link here to my website, and the first page here is just a link to the top complaints for Tiffany, which is, again, a silver, of course, company. And so you'll see here, I'm just going to read a few different examples here to give you a really good idea of a point of reference, okay? So this person here, on November 18th of 2014, they bought 3 Tiffany watches from the store. And, of course, one was a chronometer, waterproof, never used, and 2 of these watches. Long story short, they had to send these timepieces to New York because the battery ran out and they didn't have the proper equipment to replace the batteries, okay? Anyways, after paying all this money, okay, and to get this watch fixed, he paid almost $906. So sometimes when people talk about the service, perhaps, in GWT, it's amazing to see what these other people, other consumers have to go through with other companies here. And so I keep going down here. This person here, of course, bought themselves a bracelet, silver bracelet for a friend. and she literally never wore it. And when she asked her friend why she never wore it, her friend said that it was because it was completely black. You know, it had tarnished black. Long story short, she brought it back into a store, and the clerk refused to replace it, and they offered to clean it for a $20 fee. And so, you know, a lot of people here just really complaining about the companies here. Of course, you know, the list goes on and on and on with people, you know, just so a lot of things here. Now, if you look at, for example, the LV complaints here, there's a lot of complaints here talking about the customer service is really bad, how they bought a handbag here, and how, you know, you know, over here, I noticed in the last year the canvas is peeling up and cracking on the outside near the pocket that's inside the purse here. So I'm not trying to say whether these complaints are true or false. That's not what I'm trying to prove here with the companies. What I want you to realize is that a lot of people have, you know, some of the big brands have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of complaints here. This person over here, again, bought an LV bag. The husband surprised her for Christmas. They used for less than 1 hour and then decided not to want to accept the bag, want to return it, and the actual store clerk says, I'm sorry, all sales are final, and never was able to return it. Another case here where someone actually bought a brand new bag, got home and realized that there was a bit of I guess a stain or discoloration on the bag. And so the long story short, all these people here are just complaining about, you know, the quality of their stuff here. And I just want you to realize that, you know, every company in the world will have these complaints. Let's be realistic here, right? Folks are in business here. Any business you're in the world is going to have these kind of complaints here. So, you know, it's funny because when I got a chance to read through a lot of these different complaints here, the one thing that kept going through my mind that just made me feel so much at ease being in GWT was the fact that thank goodness that we have a warranty program. Because the biggest issue with these other big brand names in the world out there is they have no warranties. You know, you buy that piece, you walk out the store, boom, no warranties. It's all onto, you know, anything extra you want to do in terms of, you know, things tarnishing, not be happy with your product. There's no warranty. You fix it yourself. And after reading all these complaints, I got to tell you, folks, thank goodness that GWT has the industry's best warranty when it comes to designer goods here. Now, so again, other luxury brands don't even have warranties. But let me ask you a question. Why do you think Tiffany does not have a warranty on their silver? Why do you think that Tiffany's explicitly on their product booklets, when you buy a Tiffany piece, they tell you, explicitly that their silver will tarnish and it will turn color? The reason why Tiffany does this is because they want to, well, so for the first question, Tiffany does not have a warranty on their silver because they know that it will naturally turn color. Silver will naturally oxidize. That's just what silver does, okay? And why do you think they write explicitly on their product manuals? It's because they're trying to be proactive. They hope that people will actually read that manual and hope that they will understand that silver will tarnish, okay? So again, thank goodness at GWT, though, that at least with our silver, the company does an amazing job with a very, very expensive rhodium plating that helps to further prevent the tarnishing of our silver lines, right? And so if you haven't already, you should really go into your promo site and buy the GWT anti-tarnish bags. So if you want to prolong the life of your rhodium plating on your silver piece, you want to buy yourself those bags. But I can almost bet that most of the people on this call tonight don't even realize this. They don't even realize so far what we've talked about. They haven't even told their teams that we actually have an anti-tarnish bag. They haven't told their teams that, yes, our silver will actually turn color once the rhodium plating wears out, okay? And so these are the things that I'm talking about tonight, where we have to properly set the expectations of our prospects and our LCs, so they don't expect things that are beyond reasonable, okay? So, but what Tiffany does do is they sell you a $20 silver cleaner, and people have to buy it. So, that's their solution when your Tiffany piece will tarnish. Let me ask you a question. Have you bought your fairy cleaners? I can tell you from every single one of the pieces that I bought in the last 8 years, I take really good care of every single one of my pieces. I have the cleaners. and I actually will use my cleaners on my product all the time. And that's how you properly prolong the lifetime of your product. Okay, so the question for you is, are you out there educating your team? Because if your culture in your team, and we can see this, and the company can see which teams have a very strong culture because they're building very strong and they don't have a lot of these kind of issues, quote unquote issues. And we can also see the weaker teams that have a lot of drama because they have a bad culture when it comes to this product mindset. So make sure that from today going onward that you and your whole entire team has the proper mindset. And after a few days, after a few weeks of educating the proper mindset when it comes to product to your team, you're going to have a very, very strong business going forward. Okay? And one of the things that I've noticed from reading all of those different complaints online is that the biggest complaint about these other brands is that the service time is anywhere from 6 months to 9 months. So, the one of the biggest complaints for Gucci is that their service time takes 9 months. I'm not talking about warranty work. I'm talking about you send something to Gucci. On average, apparently, it takes about 9 months to get that piece back. Not guaranteed to be fixed, but it takes 9 months to get back, word about that kind of piece. I had a friend of mine who bought 2 LV purses, and she said 6 months. For her 2 of her purses, they sent back to service. 6 months later, she got it back. And again, thank goodness that at GWT, most things are handled within a week, 2 weeks, So, but even if it took a month, I hope you have this point of reference now, that even at a month or 2 months, we're still 3 to 5 times better than the big brands all in the world out there, okay? So, next question for you. Why does every company in the world have a service department? Why does every company in the world have a service department? And the reason why, for example, why does BMW have a service department? Your Mercedes, your Corolla, your Kia, every car company in the world, big or small, has a service department. Your fridge, your stove, anything that you basically own, any product you bought in the world has typically a service department. And why is that? Okay, because things will go wrong. It's just normal, It's normal that when human beings are making things or it's handmade or machine-made, that things will go wrong. It's absolutely normal. But that's the kind of expectation you want to make sure that the culture in your team has, is to expect that in normal life world that things will go wrong. Okay, and so, but what's the difference between you buying from Tiffany's, silver piece, and you being GWT? What's the big difference here? Well, let me tell you. Number one, you aren't the employee at Tiffany's, so you don't hear the complaints. If you are actually an employee at Tiffany standing behind the counter working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, you would hear thousands of complaints. And I actually have friends that actually work at Tiffany's, and I ask them, hey, out of curiosity, how many complaints do you hear on a monthly basis? Hundreds and thousands of complaints. But so I find it's very unfair sometimes when someone comes into our company and or some of the electric consultants, they for some reason think that that they get one product, for example, and they buy it from Tiffany's, and because there's nothing wrong with that product, that they don't think that there's anything wrong or nothing will ever go wrong with Tiffany's products. And that is completely unfair. Because the reality is that, if you were to buy 30 pieces from Tiffany's, most likely you have 1 or 2 problems, So, but I want you to realize that in this business, if you want to become a strong leader and you want to lead a big team, you have to do it, number one, with strength. People don't want to follow a weak leader, okay? But number 2, if you want to be a strong leader, to lead a big team, you got to make sure that you understand it's normal to hear people talk to you about their issues. Because if you bought a piece of Tiffany's, ring from Tiffany's, if you had a problem with that ring, where would you go? You'd go back to the store, because that's how you know how to take care of that issue. What the difference with GWT is when someone in your team gets a piece and they have an issue, they don't know how to go find the company, but they do know the person who brought them into the business, and they'll find that person, and that person knows their upline. Long story short, everyone keeps asking the chain upwards, until, and if you're a leader in the company, which is you have a big team, you're going to hear about these kind of issues. So I just want you to realize that just because you hear, maybe a few different issues in your team doesn't mean that, we actually have issues. It's only because you're a leader and people don't know where else to ask, they're going to ask you, okay? And so, one of the things that I want to talk about really quickly in terms of this point here is what is the sort of numbers when it comes to what's acceptable in terms of industry, manufacturing defects. Because some of you might seem to think that, we have beyond normal in terms of, issues in company. But this is fun here. I want to show you guys some of the stats when it comes to the industry, okay? So I'm just actually looking for my slide here. Give me one quick second as I pull this out. So here we go. I want to show you guys right now what we call the manufacturing accepted ratio, okay? So starting off here, in any kind of business and whatever, it doesn't matter what you're selling, what you're manufacturing, okay? The normal accepted percentage of what you manufacture that will be a defect is 4%. Okay, so if a company manufactures, 100 different pieces of something, 4% will have an issue. That's very, very normal for manufacturing defects. Okay. The GWT RAF ratio, so people who send a RAF to the company, is less than 1%. We are basically 400 times better than the standard acceptable 4%. We have a less than 1% RAF ratio. And on top of that, though, when the company actually received the RAF and inspected the pieces, from 88% to 92% of all the RAFs were actually wear and tear or caused by neglect and impact. So in reality, our manufacturing defect in the company is even less than 1%. It's less than 88% of 1%, because most of those RAFs we got back. So if we had 100 items go out, we'll get less than one of them coming back for a RAF, and that one coming back, 88% is caused by wear and tear or neglect and impact. Because our company, when a company receives a RAF, they have gemologists and experts that can actually look into your piece, whether it's the watch, your sunglasses, your shields, your jewelry, and they can find out if there was neglect. They can see, is there soap, is there water stains, is there impact, is there they can, is there scratch. They can see all those things under a microscope. So I hope you realize that just because you hear people in your team coming to you with maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 issues, don't think that, don't make a small thing, don't blow it up as a huge ordeal. Know in your mind that the company's RAF ratio is less than 1%, and it's still 400 times less than the industry expected 4%. I want you to know that in your mind the next time, because if your mind's not strong when it comes to this, you're not able to lead a big team. And I'll give you an example. I had someone who started my team, and the girlfriend ordered these products, okay, and they gave me a phone call and said, you know what, I have a really big issue. And I asked them, well, what's your issue? And I noticed that when they came to me saying, I have a really big issue, notice that my tone was not, oh my God, what happened? Tell me about your issue. So I don't join that pity party, and neither should you, okay? Long story short, the person ordered about, 25 pieces or so, and of the 25 pieces, she had 2 issues. So already to my mind, I was like, 2 out of 25, again, that's, and then later on, I found out that one of her issues was that they ordered an iPad case that was the wrong size. And I told her, I said, well, that's not the company's fault, that's your fault, but don't worry, the company can actually exchange it for you for ever stocking fee. So open a rack, done, boom. Her second issue was that one of the stones popped off on her ring. I said not to worry. If it's manufacturing defect, the company has again a rack system. Open a rack, send it in, and boom, you're done. That's it. That is exactly how I handle. If anyone ever comes to me with a product issue, what I just taught you is exactly how I handle it. I try to keep the conversation as small as possible. I don't ask more questions. I don't entertain things. My job is not to join the pity party. My job is not there to try to understand what happened exactly. My job is to tell them what's the process to follow. We have, so if it's under warranty, great. We have a warranty program. Fill in your wrap, send it in, and you're done. And that's it. I don't want you guys to ask questions, join the pity party. Oh my God, So end of the day, I hope you guys are getting my point here, because it's very important. It doesn't matter if you're doing our business. You could be in health and wellness. You could be in, telecom. It's the same thing. You can never, ever join the pity party. Don't make a small thing. Don't blow it up. Don't make it look like it's Armageddon. It's the end of the world coming, okay? So back to our slides here again. I'm just going to fast forward here again. So understand again that as a leader, you're going to naturally hear more things. In the same way as if you worked at the store at Tiffany's. If you were behind the counter servicing Tiffany's, you would hear a lot of complaints. If you're going to be a leader, you're going to have a small team, you'll have a few complaints. If you have a huge team, you're going to hear potentially more issues. The important part is how you handle it. Okay, so again, so why do people come to tell you their issues? Because again, if you're employed at Tiffany's, they'll tell you, tell the employee. But if your LC and your team has an issue, they'll tell you. Okay. So again, I'm really trying to drill this into your mind so that tomorrow or after the call today, you're a whole new person. As leaders, we have to understand that we will always hear issues and problems. Our job is to handle them properly. As I told you before, how I handle the rats, right? So when it comes to me with an issue, I don't get excited. I don't get emotional. I ask, what's your issue? Warranty, great. Send it in. Boom, you're done. Done, fast. That's it. Let's move on. Keep building. Okay? So, again, how to handle things properly. Don't join the pity party. Again, never talk too long about their issue. Just hear the issue and give direction. Oh, this is really important, folks. Please make sure that, I've heard a lot of LCs do this the wrong way. Don't tell people that our products are bomb-proof. Don't tell people that our products can stop a bullet for you. Don't tell people that our stuff will never turn color. Don't tell people that our stuff will never, ever have an issue, okay? So I'm not saying not to describe your excitement for the products, because you want to do this with excitement, but just don't make claims that are untrue, okay? Don't make things seem like things are indestructible, okay? I think people take, their tungsten rings, and, by the way, I was actually guilty of this before, and they're doing things like they're trying to cut the tungsten ring, they're trying to jump on it, scratch it on the floor, they're trying to throw it against the wall, and they're doing that because you probably told them that our things are bomb-proof or indestructible. It's like kryptonite, from outer space, right? Don't do that. Make sure people realize that we're selling precious commodities, designer, fine pieces here to take care of your product, okay? So make sure people realize that our products will also wear and tear. When I describe the fairy silver, I do mention that, we have a great silver, the rotary plating that will prevent it from tarnishing. But if you don't take care of your product and the rotary plating wears off, it will tarnish. So be very, very straightforward, okay? Again, the other thing that you want to educate your team on is that, some people will tell me, Renee, I bought things from LV and things from Fendi and things from Tiffany's, and I seem to have more issues with fairy products. And the one thing I come up straight is, look, when you go buy things from LV, you might buy one piece, for the average people here, right? They'll buy one piece maybe, once a year, once every few years. You don't go buy an LV purse, every month. You don't buy 10 at one time, right? But the difference at GWT is that you buy more than one thing because you have your Diamond VDM. You have your $6,000, shopping spree. So, your people have to understand that if they're telling you that they have potentially more issues, again, don't join the pity party. But hey, look, you're getting yourself, 30, 40, 50 pieces here, right? So again, in GWT, your Diamond package has $6,000 worth of products, and you'll easily order 30 pieces or more. I've seen some Diamond package orders with like 40, 50 pieces. And of course you're going to have one or two issues. It's normal, okay? So I want you guys to realize here that, to have this point of reference to realize that, hey, it's normal to have more issues because you're ordering 30, 40, 50 pieces, okay? So, if you were to order 30 pieces from any other designer brand, of course you're going to have one or two issues. I've had many of my own issues where I bought things from Tiffany, I bought things from, LV and things from, Burberry. And, if you buy more of that stuff, you're going to have yourself an issue. It's very normal, okay? Proper mindset here. So, but again, why are there more chances, though, of you having issues potentially with the product of GWT? Because in GWT, you wear your products every day and you use them every day to promote your business. When I bought my previous, jewelry or kind of things, I don't wear it all the time. My last Gucci timepiece I had, I don't wear it every single day. I might wear it once a week, once a month, right? So of course, there's going to be less probability of there having an issue because I'm wearing it a lot less. In GWT, you are wearing your products every single day from morning to night to promote your business. So expect that you're going to have, potentially a few more issues, okay? So my point here is that between all of our products here is that very, posh and very mosh items will naturally get more abuse because you use them much more often, okay? So again, just understand that the more you use our products, the more chances you're going to have. And I've seen people out there that are literally, just not taking good care. They're abusing the product here, right? Take care of your stuff here. So the one thing you want to do with your team is to educate your team to take care of their products properly. Imagine that your silver piece was a gold and diamond piece. Imagine that what you just bought was $1 million piece. Because to me, the products you're wearing from GWT are worth more than $1 million than your $40,000 Rolex, because at GWT your fairy products here can make you multi-millions of dollars for life. That's why it's more important to me than a $40,000 Rolex. I would take more good care of my GWT products than anything else in the world I bought before, because GWT products can build me a lifetime residual income and make millions of dollars, and it has, okay? So now there are, of course, some other small kind of objections here, and I hope that you guys don't feel that I'm being too hard on you, because I just want to make sure that you guys pass down the proper culture with a proper product mindset to your teams, so that you're going to have a very strong business. Imagine if everyone in your team right now got this training today and shifted their mindset. You're going to have an explosion in your business. Instead of people complaining and pity partying and slowing down, you're going to have strong leaders, strong processes, and your team's going to explode, okay? Now, just to cover a few little objections I've heard before, I've heard some people say, I don't really like everything that I see in the company. Now, to me, my instant response is, I don't know what you're talking about, because for me, I love all of the products. And, and because in our company, all of our products can make me a lifetime residual income. But I also give them a point of reference. And look, when I go to LV or I go to Gucci or Boss, whatever, it's impossible that I will like every item. I might go to the LV and literally of all the wallets, I might like one wallet. I go to Tiffany's, of all their the necklaces on them, I only like one piece. So it's impossible that you're going to like every single item in the design company. So how is it fair that you expect to like every single thing that the company makes? Now, for me, I do like everything the company makes, aside from the fact that I actually like it, but it also makes me a lifetime residual income, right? So, again, what matters is that you will find that you like many of the company's products, but more importantly, it's going to help you create a lifelong residual income here. And so the last thing to finish off with tonight, of course, is about zero tolerance for drama and exaggeration. So, when you educate your team that if there's something that happens to the products, don't exaggerate, don't lie, don't make up stories, just be honest about what happened. If you accidentally did something to your piece, be honest. The company is very, very caring, they're very, very understanding. But what the company will not stand up for, because they're very experienced, they're experts in this matter. What they will not tolerate is exaggeration or drama, or just being absolutely, perhaps rude or just being silly. Okay, so don't tell me that you bought yourself a necklace and somehow it cut your neck open and then the blood from your neck flew into the piece and the rhodium came off and the rhodium went into your blood and all of a sudden your bum exploded. Don't need to exaggerate or create drama. Just be honest with what happened. Because if you lie about something and you want to teach your people this, if they lie about something, the company's going to find out. They have gemologists and masters and experts to inspect every single piece that goes back into the lab. Okay, so tell your team, if you lie about something, they're going to find out you're lying. Now you look bad, and now we have to correct you. But if you're honest about something, the company appreciates honesty, and they might be willing to help you out there, okay, with some repairs, whatever it is, right? So now I've also heard the other objection that some people in their teams say. So fast forward here, some people say that well, we have many product issues in my team. So I've heard some people, even some of my rising stars who are really pushing going forward, they'll tell me, Renee, we have many product issues in my team. And I want to tell you and teach you guys how to deal with this properly, okay? You want to ask a few questions. Number one, you want to ask them exactly how many issues can you think of in your team? Because sometimes when people say many, 3 is many or 2 is many, okay? So you want to ask, always ask for the details in these kind of cases. Exactly how many issues can you think of in your team that are not wear and tear, that's not negligence or impact? Okay, it's very important to ask these questions. So tell me of these issues that are not issues caused of wear and tear or impact or negligence, okay? And you're going to be surprised of what their answer is. However, whatever they tell you that it could be, I have 3 issues, I have 8 issues. The next question you want to ask is, well, what is the number of VDMs in your team? Okay, ask how many VDMs are there in their team. And the reason why we want to do this is because it's really funny. I'll give you a true story. I had someone in my team came to me, exactly the same issue. We have many product issues in my team. And we actually asked the person, well, how many issues can you think of? And they said about 8. Okay, about 8 issues that happen in their team. Okay, we then asked them, well, what's the size of your team? And they said about 300 VDMs. Okay, so they had 300 VDMs in their team, and at 300 VDMs there was 8 issues. Okay, but the reason why you want to ask how many VDMs there are on their team is because you then ask how many products have your team ordered in total. And give an example. If people were, basically, if you had 800 VDMs, 300 VDMs in your team, the number of products that would have been ordered is at least 15 times that number of VDMs. Because when you get started as a silver VDM and you have that $500 of bonus products, usually you can order about 15 products. So if you had 300 VDMs multiplied by 15, that's probably about 4,500 pieces that have been sent to your team. And you have 8 issues, and all of a sudden you have a product issue in your team. And keep in mind that of the 8 that you actually have issues with, that less than 1% are actually, so the 88% of that 8 items are actually cause of wear and tear and impact. But that's for silver. Imagine how many diamond VDMs you have in your team. A diamond VDM, they may order at least 40 products, maybe 30 products, maybe 40 products, right? If you had 30 products and you had 200 diamonds, okay, in your teams at 30 products each, that's 6,000 pieces being sent out, and you have 8 issues, and all of a sudden there's a product issue in the company. So I really hope you're understanding where we're coming from and how you want to, from today going forward, how are you going to educate your team and how you're going to handle these situations when it arises in the future, okay? Because guaranteed, I want you to realize this, guaranteed the number is going to be below the industry standard of 4%. Because 9 out of 10 RAS that come to GWT in the 10-year history are not even warranty due to impact or neglect. So, sometimes, again, people get so caught up in what they're doing that they come to me and they say, we have a lot of product issues. And it's my job and your job as leaders to help that person get a point of reference and to really dig in really deep and ask specifically, How many issues can you think of? How many videos are there in your team? And do the math for them and show them that, look, even if all 8 were actual manufacturing defects, that's still okay because it's less than the 4% industry standard. In fact, it's less than 1%. So that's your job as a leader, to educate your team to not join the pity party. Because if you don't handle this properly, and your team, more importantly, your team doesn't know how to handle this properly, that's where you might have the risk of losing your team. Because in our company, we did such a great job when it comes to educating people on the compensation plan that nobody in the world can ever, you feel confident, and we did our best that we possibly could to be proactive, teaching your people about why our compensation plan is the best. The only part that I felt was that the CEO felt was missing was to be proactive, teaching people about product mindset. And after today's training, I believe we finally done that properly. And of course, that pretty much concludes the training for tonight. I hope that all of you guys got a really good sort of awakening when it comes to this training. And more importantly, take this training video that we've actually recorded and make sure that, whenever anyone in your team comes to you with a product issue, and, I don't care if they don't have an issue, I think every single person should watch the training video. I think people who have issues must watch the training video, and I think people who don't even have issues must watch this video. That's how important it is to have you build a very, very strong, stable team, because we have the best product in the industry and the best compensation plan industry, the best CEO, the best owners, the best business leadership, and the people just have to know that. And so again, I want to say thank you very much, folks, for taking the time to be on today's training. I hope that really for all of you that it did, do some good for you guys going forward. And so really quickly here, I just want to end up with one quick thing saying that, why do you think, one last quick slide here, folks, because it's really important here, which is, if someone comes to you and they're coming to you saying, we had someone come to the company before, and they said, this earring is not silver. And, what we asked them was, well, are you a metal expert? And the person goes, no. And I said, well, okay, so I want you to realize, that again is something that is exaggerating. That's being, almost just silly, exaggerating, being drama queen, right? Saying that our silver piece that's stamped 925 silver is not silver. I mean, that's where your job now is to educate them. Do you know why we have to stamp 925 or 950 or 21K or 19K on our pieces? Because by law, if it's not what we say it is, you go to jail. That's fraud. You go to jail for that. And so, so when they tell you, when you ask them, are you a metal expert? I want you to tell them, no, look, you're not a metal expert, but the company is. Okay, so and they're saying that the reason why it wasn't silver was because it turned green. And we explained to them that, did you realize that every single human being in their skin has a certain amount of acidity? And out of 3,000 people, 1 out of 3,000 people will have very, very acidic skin that will actually even turn gold green. So, again, the point here, folks, is again how you handle these objections is very important. People who claim to say that the products aren't what they are, ask them, are you a metal expert? Do you have a way of determining that that's not real silver? No, you're not an expert. The company is. Okay. So again, the other key point I want you to remember before we close the call tonight is I want to ask you a question. Why do you think LV has an F rating on the BBB, which is the worst rating possible? So why does Louis Vuitton have the worst rating on the Better Business Bureau? It's not because they're a bad company. I personally will tell you, I think LV is a great company. That's why they're $1 billion company. Gucci is a great company. It's $1 billion company. The reason why they have an F rating is because people expect them to be perfect. They spend $4,000 on a handbag, and they expect for the company to be perfect. They expect that everything that they buy is going to be perfect. I'll be the first person to tell you there's no such thing as a perfect company in this world. GWT tries to be a perfect company, but there is no perfect company in the world. Things will go wrong. It's normal, okay? And so, you know, the point I'm trying to make here, folks, is don't give your people and don't set them the wrong expectation that things will never go wrong. Be realistic, okay? So don't claim that your products are bomb-proof or bulletproof or can stop a bullet. You know, you want to make sure that you set people's expectations right up front. Because if you're lying about the product and you're over-talking what it should be, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot for later on. So again, don't exaggerate things, okay? So that's pretty much again for the training for today. Again, thank you so much